If so, I want to invite you to join me for Faith Life Now, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. right here on KKVV. That is Faith Life Now, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. here on KKVV.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-461-8937. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-461-8937 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-461-8937 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-461-8937.
If you've been hurt in an accident, the other driver made a bad choice. So, make a good choice. Call 830-7070. Choose attorney Anthony Paglia for the maximum possible settlement of your injury case. Call 830-7070.
Welcome to the show Money, Politics, and Religion. Because if we don't talk about it, someone else will control the narrative. First, money. How should someone handle money so they can make their lives better? Second, politics. How can we learn from other countries' failures to help improve our community? Third, religion. How can we improve our spiritual lives so we can live in peace and abundance? Anthony Paglia's grandfather was the late Arturo Gambito, co-founder of the Latin Chamber of Commerce and Nevada's first licensed Hispanic architect. Anthony will share Arturo's legacy with you to help improve the community as Arturo would want. So if you're ever hurt in a car crash, call Anthony Paglia Injury Lawyer at 702-830-7070 for a free and confidential consultation. And now, here is the producer and your host, Attorney Anthony Paglia.
Call 830-7070. All right, good afternoon. It's Friday here in Las Vegas. I have Ricardo here with me today. How you doing, Ricardo?
Doing well. How's everyone going?
Good. We're doing good. Thanks for being on the show. Veronica.
No problem.
Hey, Veronica was supposed to be here today, but she couldn't make it because on the way here she called me. She was very upset, and it turns out she had $5,000 in her bank account, and then all of a sudden there was a negative $900,000.
900.
Yeah, like almost $1 million in negative money. I'm sorry to laugh. She was very upset. It's
yeah. I should text her.
Yeah, it's outrageous, right? And she was very upset. I get it. You know, it's like when someone violates your privacy.
I agree.
I've had my truck broken into, and I didn't like it. It felt bad, and so I felt for her. So she's at home licking her wounds. However, you know, the bank is supposed to protect her money, all of us, all of her money.
Right.
And she says it was done because of like the applications on the phones, the apps where the...
Yeah, I've heard about that, like Venmo.
Yes.
I've heard about Zelle also, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Warren, have you heard of these apps before? Banking apps?
But somebody can put 900,000 into my bank account.
I know, right? I was.
And if they took it, I'd only be down $899,900.
There you go, perfect. I just don't know what this person bought. I asked Veronica if it was like a yacht or something. I don't know. That's
right.
wild.
Or 2 houses. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe a bunch of Biden votes.
There we go.
Exactly. Isn't that right? That's exactly. Let's get right into the election here. It looks like, you know, the stories are like 100,000 ballots show up, plop right there in the Michigan voting place, and to me that screams like corruption and is fishy. So hopefully we can, you know, figure out what's going on. I know there's a lot of people who say, hey, look, carry on and just give up gracefully, but I don't think Trump is going to do that. I think he ought to.
He'll fight for it.
Yeah,
sure.
And I think he should. And Warren had mentioned, and I also heard that they watermarked the ballots, right, to trap these people.
Yeah, in 2018, President Trump had Kodak watermark and make all the ballots for the election, and apparently the Democrats didn't know, So now the National Guard's going in, and they're going to count the votes. And see the watermark? It's a legitimate vote. No watermark? Throw it in the trash.
Yeah, I hope they
Yeah.
get to the bottom of that. I know in Phoenix, Arizona, they're having issues with Sharpies on the ballots.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that there's all kinds of just, I think people, enemies of the United States are trying to just mess things up, right? Just make things kind of crazy, and so we just stay strong and move forward. And I hope that the cheaters are
Will not
caught.
prevail.
What's
Yeah,
that?
will not prevail.
Yeah, hopefully they will not prevail, and so we'll have to stick it through. You know, the President Trump, he's the president till like January 20th
Yes.
anyway, so we have time, and
Yeah.
I bet they'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We want a fair and equal election.
absolutely,
Right,
let's count the votes, make sure they're good. Let's have an accounting.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I studied in undergrad, was accounting, and every time a case settles in our office, the client gets an accounting. They see where every penny in their case goes. Transparency is key, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. And you know, last election, Hillary Clinton, she won the popular vote, but lost the electoral college, electoral college. Make sure you say that right. Don't embarrass yourself on live
My dad always
radio.
said, winners never cheat and cheaters never win.
Yeah.
So what is that? What is the electoral college anyway? And so I'm not very good at explaining it. I can't even
Okay.
say it properly, right? I mispronounce it. So I have a video from the New American, and they do a really good job laying it out. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is we live in a constitutional republic, and there's a democracy that's kind of like a sub part of that, meaning like the people vote, but it's all within the confines of the Constitution, and it prevents, you know, to go unpolitically correct, it prevents the what we call here the liberal socialist communist mob from taking over, and unfortunately brainwashing some of the masses to vote against their interests, because it happened to my grandpa in Cuba. They gave up their guns, which is a Second Amendment God-given right. Makes you exercise your Second Amendment right. As soon as they gave up that right, done. It was over for them, and that's why I'm here today. So let's. It's important for us to know our history. Why do we have this? And this was the best way for the founders to prevent tyranny. Go ahead, Warren. Let's hear it.
What is the Electoral College? It seems so complicated. Is it really necessary? If you are unsure of these answers, here are the basics. The Electoral College began at the founding of our Constitution. Now remember, the Constitution was intentionally created in a way that was not purely democratic. Although America elects its representatives and passes new laws through a democratic process, this does not mean it is a democracy. The founders knew from history that a pure democracy, otherwise known as majority rule, does not protect an individual's rights. Instead, it can act much like a king or dictator and allow the majority to abuse its power and oppress the minority. This is why they intentionally gave us a constitutional republic and not a democracy. This is also why they gave us the Electoral College, as a safeguard to protect against a tyranny of the majority. History has proven that when 51% of the public gains control in a pure democracy, they can forever control the other 49%. By having the Electoral College, it guards against a group of people, a state, or multiple states from gaining too much power. Here's how it works. The Electoral College consists of 538 electors. The electors are equal to the total members within the U.S. House of Representatives, plus 100 senators, and 3 electors from the District of Columbia, bringing the total to 538. When it comes to the selection of electors, generally the process and procedures have been established by the political parties in each state. Once the state presidential primaries take place, the parties nominate their candidates for president. Then each party submits its official selection of electors for its nominee to state election officials. Next comes the day of the presidential elections. Voters throughout the nation go to the polls thinking they are choosing the president and vice president. But in reality, they are choosing the electors in their state, which normally don't even appear on the ballot. In most states, the candidate who receives the most votes wins all that state's electoral votes. The candidate who has the majority of the electoral votes or currently reaches 270 votes, wins the presidency. In most presidential elections, the winner is known the morning after Election Day. However, election results don't become official until weeks later. First, winning electors for each state meet in their state capitals to vote for president and vice president. Next, they send the sealed results to Washington. Then, on January 6th, the results are read in the presence of the entire Congress, and the winner becomes official. Finally, on January 20th, the president-elect takes the oath of office as President of the United States. Many assume the winner of the national popular vote always takes the presidency. However, this is not always the case. This raises the question as to why we determine the winner with the Electoral College. The Electoral College was designed to protect against the tyranny of the majority. The majority in this case is the influence of larger populated states on Election Day, which is why the Electoral College protects the influence of the smaller states. If a national popular vote were to replace the Electoral College, America would witness the big urban centers of our large population states dominate presidential elections. In order to give the small states a say, the Electoral College caps each state's influence, proportionate to their population, with an allotted number of electoral votes. For example, California has 55 electoral votes to Wyoming's 3. Without the Electoral College, California voters could give a presidential candidate a huge victory in the popular vote. With the Electoral College acting as a buffer, no matter what the total popular vote, California's influence compared to Wyoming's remains a ratio of 55 to 3. The safeguard to cap the vote helps protect against voter fraud, whereas a national popular vote would encourage it. For example, there are safe states, which almost always vote for a particular party. This would motivate some to use voter fraud in the large safe states because they could generate larger winning margins for their preferred candidate in these states. However, with the Electoral College, states such as this would gain little benefit with massive voter fraud. No matter how many votes are counted, these states' influence on the outcome would still be capped by their allotted number of electoral votes. Even though fraud may occur today, imagine how much worse it would be if the presidential elections were determined by popular vote. This would lead to even bigger problems when considering every state has different rules concerning early voting, registering to vote, how to qualify for voting ballots, and more. Finally, the Electoral College encourages coalition building. With this process, every state matters. While campaigning, it is crucial that each candidate tours enough states and reaches a broad range of people so they receive enough electoral votes. This becomes very important in close elections. So to answer those questions, what is the Electoral College? It is a process created by our founders for electing the president and vice president. It seems so complicated. Is it necessary? Absolutely. It acts as a safeguard to protect our republic and ultimately our individual rights from the dangers of a pure democracy. Now that you have a better understanding, it's time to pass this information on to others. The more informed we are, the less likely we will repeat mistakes of the past and allow our constitutional republic to be transformed into a democracy. That would threaten the rights of everyone. All states need to stand united and fight for our God-given rights as secured by our constitutional republic. Begin by taking a stand in preserving the Electoral College.
Alrighty. I like to use California as an example because my brothers and I were doing the math, and you don't start paying yourself until like June or July. You know, if you were to pay all of your taxes up front in California, like let's say it's over 60%, you're not really paying yourself until July or August. So, Warren, what did you think of the video?
You know, it really explains a lot because the Electoral College, which the liberals are trying to get rid of, stops the big states like Texas and New York and California from just throwing the votes. I mean, you have so many more people than look at Rhode Island. You know, that's such a small little state, little Delaware.
Right.
You know, so they need the Electoral College. It's very, very because we're going to turn into Nigeria and another third world country that steals the election.
Right. And so what it does is it helps make the states a little bit more equal, gives them a little more equal say, which is great. And so earlier we said we have Ricardo here.
Yes, sir.
And Ricardo, you are a family nurse practitioner.
That's correct.
lvholistichealth.com.
Mm-hmm.
People can find you there.
Yes.
And I counted the letters. There's 10 letters after your name
Oh my God.
on there. Okay, let's go through them.
Okay.
APRN. What is that?
First of all, my name is Ricardo Asuncion. APRN stands for Advanced Practice Registered Nurse. So that's we have a registered nurse who has a bachelor's in science of nursing, and an APRN is an RN who either got a master's or a doctorate degree as a nurse practitioner or some other specialty. Under the APRN bracket, there's the certified registered nurse anesthetist, certified nurse midwives, and the certified nurse practitioners, which is me.
Excellent.
Yep. And then after APRN, we have FNP
Dash C. What's that?
FNP basically means family nurse practitioner. I'm a nurse practitioner with a specialty in family medicine.
Nice.
And the C is certified. That's all
Excellent.
that means. And then RN at the end.
Well, how do you get certified?
You take the board
And
exam.
what's
So
what's the board
schooling,
exam?
board exam. Yeah, say that again.
How long is the board exam?
The board exam, it's 100. I think it's 150 questions. I can't remember anymore. I forgot about it.
Okay.
I've passed it. That's it.
That's
I'm
it.
done.
Yeah, right. Isn't that how like most of schooling is?
Yeah, yeah. And then
Alright.
you just leave it. Yep, yep.
Well, it looks nice. You got all these letters, and
Oh,
then
thank you.
RN, registered nurse.
Yes, yes. RN. That was my first job as an RN. Yeah.
And I'm looking at your profile here.
Mm-hmm.
You have you were trained by one of the top heart surgeons in Las Vegas. Tell me about that.
Yes, shout out to Dr. Bashir Chowdhury. Yes, he is one of the best, I would say one of the best heart surgeons here in Las Vegas. He's been practicing for 43 years.
Wow.
And I was able to train with him. I actually worked with him. We did a lot of heart surgeries, lung surgeries, vascular surgeries, trauma surgeries. So, yeah, it was a great experience. Very great experience.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I know that the doctor can only be as good as the people who support him.
The
so,
right hand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's
Yeah.
excellent. So you're one of
Yeah.
those folks that
Yeah.
really make sure it happens. All right.
Yeah.
Tell us what you do over at LV Holistic Health.
Sure, yeah. So at LV Holistic Health, we pretty much focus on utilizing a holistic approach in treating our patients. By holistic approach, we consider the other aspects of the patient's health, not just their medical conditions. So at our clinic, we have a chiropractor, we have a physical therapist, we have an herbalist, we have a psychologist, and in this clinic, we also we do a lot of regenerative and alternative medicine and functional medicine stuff. I personally do a lot of regenerative medicine, such as stem cell therapy. So for those people who have a lot of joint pains and stuff like that, we use a stem cell derivative solution, and we inject it into the patient's joints, back, and it actually relieves pain. And I've had really great results with it. We do a lot of alternative medicine also, ozone therapy, and we have a hyperbaric chamber. We have the peptide therapy. We have a red light therapy. It's an anti-aging, and I could go on and go on if you want me to. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So it's a lot of it sounds like preventative, so that way
Yes. Yes.
it can help people stay healthy longer and also treat illnesses as well.
Yes. Yes. So we like to promote your body's immune and promote your body to heal its own by using natural substances.
All right.
Yeah.
I know that Dr. Nicole was on the show before, and I need to get my family in there so we can get checked out.
Yeah,
and get
yeah.
cracked. After
Yeah.
the show, she popped my jaw
Yeah.
after talking for an hour, and I felt nice. I was like, all right, this is good. We need to go and follow up. So we will
Yeah.
in time. We just been real
Definitely.
busy, and
Yeah.
but we're gonna get our
Yeah.
way there.
Yeah.
And also, LV Holistic gave out hand sanitizers at our event
Oh, great,
recently. So
great.
thank you. Yeah, that was wonderful.
great.
We appreciate the support.
Yeah. So I myself have back pains, and it's been I don't know 4 years now. And one day I came up to her and I'm like, "Hey, Dr. Nicole, my back hurts." And she's like, okay, lay down and I'll adjust you. And then she adjusted, and then all of a sudden the pain went away.
Excellent.
And then we have a physical therapist. Her name is Dr. Priya. Um, she has a machine that we call shockwave therapy machine.
Uh-huh.
So what it does is it pretty much breaks down the scar tissue and all that stuff. She did it on my back, and after a 15-minute session, the pain went away. And so far, it's been 2 weeks. Knock on wood, my pain's gone. My back pain's it's gone. I'm hoping it's not gonna come back.
Well, if it does, it sounds like you're in good hands.
Yeah, right.
All right. So hey, let's we were talking about the politics, and let's kind of jump back into it a little bit here. We had the vice presidential debate recently, and they were talking a lot about climate change, and that was a big issue, and they wanted to know the vice president's position on climate change. And I remember when worshippers of nature, liberalists, these type of folks, before they call it global warming, before it was climate change. You remember that, Warren?
Yeah, and I hugged a tree once in a while myself.
Yeah. All right. Don't get a splinter on your face when you do that, though. Be careful. I think that, the founder of the Weather Channel, his name is John Coleman. He talks about his position on global warming and climate change. I think it's a good way to kind of look at it. And there's an audio of him. He's telling us that the media is fake. I mean, between the lines you hear it, he says the media is fake. What President Trump's been saying for a long time. And so, they told us that Hillary Clinton won the election and then she didn't. There was a lot of that going on. There definitely is some manipulation going on here. And so let's hear what John Coleman, the founder of the Weather Channel, has to say about global warming and weather change. He does mention world government. He says you got to keep that in mind, which is biblical, right? Tower of Babel. And so let's go ahead and, Warren, if you could, let's hear the video.
Are you real concerned about this global warming?
I'm only concerned about the incredible frenzy and hype for something that's a total myth. That concerns me a lot because people are going hysterical about it. It's amazing to me how upset so many people are and how many billions of dollars apparently our governments are going to spend of our tax dollars to combat something that isn't real. That has my attention, believe me. As a scientist, I know that global warming doesn't really exist at all in any sense of significance, and that we have nothing to worry about.
Now, are you saying that there hasn't even been any warming?
Well, there's absolutely natural climate fluctuations. We have little ice ages, we have warm-ups. Historically, the Earth has vacillated through all of these. Solar cycles change dramatically. Ocean currents change. And all of that has a significant impact on climate. And the building of cities, the flying of airplanes, the existence of all these billions of people on Earth have all influenced the climate of Earth. But none of it is of significance. And thank goodness, things are doing just fine.
So you're not in a panic over the icebergs melting and the sea levels rising and...
I promise you, 20 years from today, I'll be the one that's laughing. The icebergs, the ice caps at the poles are not going to melt. The oceans are not going to flood the coast. People are not going to die. We're not going to have global climate change that cuts off the food supply. We're not going to have thousands of species eliminated as they lose their habitat. None of these things is going to happen. The Earth is the climate's going to change with cycles of the sun and with ocean currents, and we're all going to do just fine.
But Al Gore has a very convincing video out there that seems to show that we're really facing a catastrophe. I'm
very well aware of the hype. The media is full of it every day. Al Gore got the Nobel Peace Prize, an Oscar, and a Grammy, and apparently millions of dollars. Al Gore, I believe, is sincere in his belief, but oh, so misguided. as is the entire UN IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
Well, doesn't that bring us to the point that Mr. Gore makes and many others, that science has spoken? There is a universal consensus among scientists.
Well, if you look at the history of the IPCC, it was formed by people whose agendas were of question. They really wanted to get back at the industrialized nations and get them to pay penance to the third world nations for their pollution of the atmosphere through their industrial activities. It was the little guys picking on the big guys kind of concept, which is very common in the UN. And it was from people who had world government in mind. That history is pretty well documented by an engineer named Alan Cheatham. He has really dug into it. And that panel was, so you create this bureau within the UN on climate change. Well, its mission and its existence then is to prove that there's climate change. So it starts hiring scientists and giving them research money to go out and prove that its mission is valid, to prove its point. And all of this, and then it holds meetings and it does publicity, and the whole thing just crescendos and builds. Now, was there a consensus of 2,500 scientists at the Bali meeting? Heavens, no. The key paragraphs or chapters of this report and the research documents behind it, which are very impressive, are not anything that were widely read by these scientists. They were, many of them were political scientists, as it were scientists who have a political mission. There were representatives there from Greenpeace and the Sierra Club and from government ministries, in addition to some well-meaning scientists. But it appears that only about 25 scientists out of that 2,500 actually read and reviewed in a scientific manner, a peer review, the key chapter on radiative forcing by carbon dioxide causing climate change. So there was no huge consensus built up at the IPCC, and there's almost more scientific consensus on the other side, where 19,000 scientists signed a petition against the Kyoto Protocol, where 400 plus scientists spoke out as skeptics on global warming in 2007, where at least 4 dozen TV meteorologists have spoken out against global warming. There's no consensus, and to try to shut off the debate is a political strategy. One of the great things about science is the debate that takes place, and the debate should never be shut off.
It's my understanding that at Bali, in November of 2007 at the conference there, that quite a number of scientists who went there in order to engage in debate there were not allowed to have any kind of forum there.
There were 100 scientists who wrote a letter of complaint at the meeting. That was one group that spoke up. And we have documentation and statements and papers by any number of scientists who were on the IPCC panel, who were reviewers and had been with it for years, who shared in that Nobel Peace Prize, because the panel shared the prize with Al Gore, who shared in that prize, who say that this panel should be disbanded, should be, it's a sham.
Because a lot of the scientists who participated in the panel actually providing scientific input,
it was ignored.
Where then later their scientific work was basically shoved aside for political.
They asked questions, they made comments, and essentially it was pushed aside, ignored. And that is not the scientific process, obviously.
Now, you were involved in the middle of your career in broadcasting 20, 30 years ago when we were told in similar panic terms that we were going to face global cooling and ice age.
I was a TV weathercaster in Chicago when the head of the Department of Meteorology at the University of Wisconsin announced the coming of an ice age. And Time magazine came out with a picture of the skyscrapers of Chicago trapped in a huge glacier that was creeping down over the Midwest. And clearly, as a television meteorologist, I was called upon, I was working for ABC at the time, I was called upon to report on this and to investigate it and to interview people and to, so yeah, I was there. Yeah, and
the ice. You're still waiting for the ice cap.
I never believed it was coming, nor do I believe global warming is coming. And in fact, are you aware? And I'm sure some people seeing this are aware that officials of both the Canadian and Russian government in the past 6 weeks have warned of a coming ice age.
Alrighty, Warren, what'd you think of the video?
You know, I think I've been calling this for a long time, that there is no global warming. There's no climate change. You know, and what we're doing is we're spraying chemtrails to control the weather, to make everyone freak out that, oh my God, the sky is falling.
It's hot in November.
Meanwhile,
It is pretty hot.
They're lying to us every step of the way, and Americans eat it up.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, these global groups, they hire scientists to say global warming and change is a real threat to us, to scare us. You know, they get to get that fear into us. And you know, through the Bible, we know that the earth communicates to God the Father via the story of Cain and Abel, when you know, am I my brother's keeper? And God was like, well, you killed your brother because the blood in the soil is telling me so. And then you have in the book of Exodus, when Moses came down from the mountain the first time, when he broke the stones the first time, and the earth opened up and swallowed all the idolaters into the earth. Also in the book of Revelation, there's the earth opened up and swallowed the fireball that was going to kill the woman who had the children who believed in Christ. And so there's, you know, we're all within God's divine providence, and at the end of the day, you know, this is the founder of the Weather Channel. This ain't some guy wearing a green shirt talking on an AM radio show. This guy knows what he's talking about. He says this is, well, and then we'll get to science. He says that it's a political debate, right? They're trying to raise money through a tax, a global tax. And I have my friend on here. His name is Evan Hartzell. He's a minister at Club Christ. And we talked about how scientists were able to prove that smoking cigarettes were good for you, right? And so we had a scholarship, a Millennium Scholarship, to go to school.
Really?
To go to Reno because of the tobacco litigation. And so through that example, we know that a corporation can pay scientists to say that tobacco is good for you when they knew that it actually caused cancer.
Cause cancer and a lot of things, yeah.
And so they would pass out cigarettes to kids as they would walk into the candy stores, you know, like 5, 6-year-old, here's a cigarette kid, here's a cigarette kid. You know, like how you see those people at the bars or the taverns, they'll have like the machine, they're giving out free cigarettes. They used to do that in front of the candy stores because they had the money to pay the scientists to, you know, I wouldn't say these scientists were evil, maybe some of them were. However, they would use certain studies to help prove certain points.
To mislead people. Yeah.
And it was misleading, absolutely. And that's why there was so much money. The people realized, okay, this is definitely misleading. We're going to punish them. They got punitive damages, and the money went into these state funds to help for scholarships. And so for me, that's a really good point in my life to show that science can prove both sides of the argument. And he had, you know, I lean with Vice President Pence when he says there is science to back up that we don't put a dent into the environment, and CO2 is actually beneficial in a certain extent to the environment. As long as we're not purposefully destroying it, I think we'll be okay. And it's also very arrogant for us to think that we are gonna, you know, bring it all down because we're you know, driving our truck and doing what we need to do to provide for our families.
You know, this is very scary because, you know, as a practitioner, we believe in science. Of course, you know, we specialize in medicine. So all of these guidelines are backed up with science. And now that you mentioned, you know, some people can get paid, scientists can get paid to tell them that, hey, this is actually good for you, where in reality, in fact, it's really not. It scares me. Yeah.
It comes down to the individual and those who want to influence those individuals with money, and you don't want to sell yourself short. And you want to do the right thing. And I think some people do get misled, and there's some who purposely mislead. I look at it as a means to create a global tax. And if they, I mean, what is it? We talked already. California is like 65% tax, and now, if you get a global tax on top of that, I mean, you're gonna you start paying yourself until Christmas. It's craziness.
Yeah.
And so, that has to stop. I mean, if they do implement some type of global tax, they're gonna get a Boston Tea Party on steroids, as far as I see it, because I got nowhere else to go. My grandpa came here from Cuba. My heels are in the ground at this point. And then they talked about Al Gore in the video. He's a puppet for the UN and these other global groups. I saw a lot of videos of Joe Biden talking to the UN group saying, hey, look, I got this guy fired because he was investigating his son in this foreign country. So definitely check that out. I think that still has to unwind itself too. It's bizarre. You have a guy about to win the presidency, yet he's also alleged to have done all kinds of criminal things. So it's a fascinating time we live in. And so also we wanted to talk about the event that we had. We gave out a bunch of Capriati sandwiches at the office last Friday, and it turned out to be a good event. Warren was asking me about it.
I was asking you about how did it turn out. I mean, we were getting some feedback from Veronica. She called in and told us what was happening, but being in here, I couldn't see anything.
It was good. We had a good turnout. We did have some sandwiches left over, and we went ahead and passed them out to the homeless on Boulder Highway. And so what I'll do next time is I'll swing by and I'll pick up some stuff and bring it to the studio for all of you, and then the event will be going on.
Very nice of you guys.
And we'll promote it. Yeah, it'll be
Yummy.
A good time. We ask for people's, because what we say, there's nothing for free. So we ask for their first name, last name, email, and birthday and month, so that way we can send them emails and things. And it's a marketing
that's
thing.
a good trade. Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah.
And so LV Holistic gave out hand sanitizer at the event, so we're very happy about that.
Yes.
And I just also was talking to Warren, and I signed a statement of faith, and I figured I would read it because it's part of the Christian resource guide. You sign this saying, hey, look, Red Letter Publishing LLC is a non-sectarian, non-denominational in attitude and emphasis. We believe the Bible to be the only inspired, infallible, and authoritative Word of God. We believe in one God, eternally existent in three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. We believe in the virgin birth of our Lord Jesus Christ, his sinless life, his vicarious and atoning death, his bodily resurrection, his ascension to the right hand of God the Father, and his personal return in power and glory. We believe our salvation is by grace through faith in his shed blood, which is evident through our works. So I went ahead and signed that and sent it off, and I'll be advertising through the Christian Resource Guide. I thought that was really cool. And so real quick, we want to talk about here LV Holistic Health. If you want to get the full workup,
yes, sir,
and call 702-646-1150. And Ricardo was telling us about all kinds of different services. I mean, it's from head to toe.
Yeah. The services that we provide. So first off, we have this. We have ozone therapy. Ozone therapy is actually really good for those who have autoimmune diseases. Ozone is pretty much O3. It's actually the product of O2 being struck by lightning. So O3, what it does is, when your body gets more oxygen, your body functions better, your cells function better, your immunity boosts, and it's really good for those who have autoimmune diseases such as Lyme disease, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, people who have fibromyalgia, and those people who just want to have their immunity boosted. Ozone therapy is the best option for you. We also provide IV nutrition infusions. So we give you guys electrolytes through through an IV bag. We also do detox with NAD. NAD is actually, it's been around since the 1900s. It's actually being used for people who are going through opioid addiction. And study shows that, I've read an article actually, 4 doses of NAD, this patient was completely off of any opioids.
Wow.
Also, we do a lot of We have a hyperbaric chamber. This hyperbaric chamber that we have, it's pretty much like a spaceship. You go inside that capsule, and it delivers 100% oxygen. So outside where we are, there's about I think 21% of oxygen in the air, and when you're inside that spaceship, you get 100%, and that 100% oxygen is delivered through your cells, and your body. It's really good for patients who have fibromyalgia as well, those who have chronic pains, and those patients who have chronic wounds, osteomyelitis, diabetic ulcers. Yes, and
Wow.
there's a lot more. We offer primary care services. We accept patients. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, Aetna, pretty much all of the insurances, and stem cell therapy. Stem cell therapy is stem cell derivative. It's not live stem cell because that's illegal. Uh, Stem cell is really good for those patients who have joint pains, like what I said earlier. I've had great results with it, and yeah, I think.
Hey, Ricardo.
Yeah.
The reason that the live stem cell is forbidden in America is because it works. And,
It's
and a
that
good
is
friend
true.
of mine, I will mention his name, the amazing Jonathan, very funny comedian magician,
Yeah.
was going to die. And
Whoa.
he went to Mexico and he got live stem cell research. And what is it, 2020? He's still alive.
Wow. There
Yeah.
you go. Okay.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
I think there's some ethical issues behind it also, and it works wonders. Like what I said, even the stem cell derivative, it's not live stem cell, really works well.
Got it.
Can you imagine the live ones? So yeah.
That's wild. And so,
That's
if you have any
awesome.
questions for Ricardo, you can email him at admin@lvholistichealth.com. And make sure you set up an appointment. You can go online, lvholistichealth.com, and set an appointment online. I believe, click here and see.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. Excellent. Yeah,
Yes,
so
you can.
fill it out and book your appointment.
Mhm.
That's wonderful. And I wanted to talk to you about, I know Veronica, she swears by the ozone therapy.
Okay. Yeah. I'm ready.
She's got a, immunity um,
Issues.
issues that she needs
Okay.
help with, and
Mhm.
nothing crazy major, but it helps her. And
Mhm.
she swears by the ozone therapy. Could you explain to me? You said something about lightning being struck.
Yeah. Yeah. So ozone has been around since 1900s, late 1800s. Uh, the European countries are actually using it now. It's been used as an antibiotic, antiviral, and immune booster. So basically, ozone is O3, oxygen is O2. When the lightning strikes O2, the O2 separates into two separate molecules, and then these molecules sometimes can combine, therefore resulting in O3. So when your body receives O3, your body gets more oxygenated. Compare it, it's pretty much like beer as O2 and your moonshine as O3.
There you go.
You can see that's the difference. So it's a lot stronger. Your body's gonna get more energy. It fills up your mitochondria, which is your energy cells in your body, and it'll promote the functions of your organs. And I did want to say, ozone is, the whole COVID situation, 2020, it ruined it, right? And ozone is actually really good for those patients who are trying to avoid COVID. Patients who are currently diagnosed with COVID, research showed that ozone can actually help you with those COVID symptoms. And I read an article where an ICU patient was in a hospital. Ozone was uh, administered to this patient, and within 48 hours, the patient was off ICU and was discharged 2 days after. So,
Excellent.
great results, yeah.
That sounds great. And it can help with arthritis as well.
Yes, so we do a lot. We can do joint injections. It reduces inflammation into the area. Yeah.
And people with colon or
Oh,
digestive
and
issues.
yes, you can also do it rectally. So we have this catheter and we fill it up with about 450 ml of air and then push it in. It's really good for those patients who have colitis, who have chronic inflammation of their intestines.
Wow.
So yeah,
So there's a lot of different ways you can even
a
take
lot of
this
different.
stuff.
Yes, yes, yes. There's a
Interesting.
lot of books about it actually, and people call it the wonder miracle drug.
All right.
Yeah,
Excellent. So if you're out there and you're listening, you have some of these problems. That, hey, look, I need help.
yeah.
Call Ricardo. He's going to help you. And then Warren was talking about the stem cells working, and there were some ethical issues. I think isn't the issues that people are afraid of, like smuggling bad blood or something along the lines of child trafficking. Is that what the ethical issues are? Do you know, Warren?
I believe that they're being done because I guess they're getting the live stem cell from babies.
Babies, yeah.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
From aborted fetuses.
yeah.
So they really don't want to use that.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of, I mean, you end up injecting potentially demons inside of you using some of this stuff, if it goes down the wrong system and they're doing rituals with it and all this crazy stuff. So I understand that completely. And, it sucks that the comedian had to go to Mexico to get it done. And also, I guess we'd have got to protect ourselves in a certain way.
Yeah.
We had a chiropractor on the show, and he was talking about how they had to fight, all chiropractors did, to get into the AMA guidelines because they weren't treated with any respect. They were, I don't know, I guess considered bozos or something. I don't really understand it because chiropractic medicine is so helpful.
Very helpful.
And so they had to fight to get more, I don't know, recognition from the AMA, which is the American Medical Association. They kind of set the guidelines, kind of dictate how medical procedures should go, like when someone's hurt in a crash, what's the protocol. And for a while they didn't even think chiropractic medicine was worthy of any recognition. So it's a practice. And
no, they're doctors. They went to extensive training and education. So yeah,
absolutely. So
I'll tell you, they get no respect at all.
it's like a Rodney Dangerfield over here. All righty, so let's go ahead and go to the break here real quick, and then we'll come back and finish off with Ricardo and call it a day.
We the people guarantee the auto insurance industry a market to make a profit because of our state laws. Cars are only required to have liability insurance of $25,000 per person per crash, with a $50,000 cap per crash. Make sure you get uninsured and underinsured motorist coverages today. Call Anthony Paglia, Injury Lawyer LTD, at 830-7070 for free information on how to better protect your family. Ask about MedPay coverages and stacking policies. What is diminished value and loss of use? Knowledge is power. So call to learn more at 702-830-7070 for a free and confidential consultation.
Anthony Paglia is David, and the insurance companies are Goliaths. Anthony will step into your shoes and advocate on your behalf. Get the compensation you deserve. Tell your insurance company to call your attorney, Anthony Paglia, at 702-830-7070. That's 830-7070.
Anthony is the attorney that wears the armor of God so that you may be able to stand firm against the tactics of the devil. He will help you put on the breastplate of righteousness, shoes of peace, shield of faith, helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the gospel. These protections will help ensure you get the help you need. When you need an attorney in the event of an accident, call Anthony at 830-7070. That's 830-7070.
All right. Welcome back. We got Ricardo here. We're just going through his website. There's so many services that they offer over at
it's a
LV.
holistic clinic.
Yeah, it's amazing. So tell me about peptides.
Okay, peptides. So peptide therapy is actually composed of your growth hormone releasing hormones and growth hormone releasing peptides. So basically peptide, it's indicated for those patients who are older, those patients who are 40 years and above that suffer from low energy, low levels of energy, low libido, low levels of, pretty much if you're feeling old, that's the best way to say it. If you're feeling old, your metabolism slows down. Peptide therapy, what it does is it's gonna make you feel 20 years younger, like you're 20 years old again. Because as we grow as we grow older, our growth hormones decrease. When you're 40, you're not as young as you're not 20 years old anymore, and you feel these joint pains, these back pains. Your metabolism slows down and you gain weight. So peptide therapy is really good for those who are going through those symptoms. People who are 50 years old that want to feel younger again, and for those that are bodybuilders actually, if they want to tone out, it's actually good for it promotes lean muscle mass, decreases visceral fat, and
Really?
yeah,
That's
it
what
makes
I'm into. I'm really like lifting weights. Well, I don't lift weights like I used to, but I used to be like a.
yeah.
That was like my thing. I love to lift weights, so
Yeah,
it helps
yeah.
promote lean muscle mass. How does that work?
Yes, yes. So, like what I said, you when you're 20 and you start lifting weights, it's easy for you to gain muscles because you're 20 years old and you have great growth hormones. But as we get older, when you're 40 years old, 50, it slows down to about, I don't know, 20% every decade. So that's what it does. It helps you, it give your body more growth hormones. These are not growth hormones because growth hormones are illegals. Okay, these are peptides. These are amino acids. Yeah.
Got it. And how would I ingest them?
So this is actually you inject it actually. So the treatment is Monday through Friday. You give yourself a break on the weekends. So Monday through Friday, every night you inject it subcutaneously into the fat in your stomach, in your belly, and yeah, inject about zero point 0.5 milliliters depending on what product we use, and then we do that for 3 months, and right away within the first week you'll feel the difference. Yeah,
Have you had people report back to you and say, "Hey, this is what I'm feeling"?
yeah, yeah.
What do they tell you?
They feel good. Uh, they one patient said that she pretty much just feels like she's 20 years old again.
Excellent.
I don't know how to say that, but she feels like she's 20 years old and she's 60.
Great.
Yeah.
And what about for some people who might be afraid of needles? Is there another way to take the peptide?
There's another way. You can do oral, but it's not as effective because it goes through your stomach, goes through your liver, gets metabolized there. So we recommend injections. Yeah.
Got it. And let's talk a little bit about the red light therapy.
Red light therapy. I love this. Red light therapy it's a huge chamber.
I can see it online here. Yeah.
Right. So what it does is it actually promotes it's anti-aging. So it promotes collagen formation and it helps rejuvenate your skin. It promotes wound healing and it's a remedy for hair loss. It also recovers your body from injury and illness, and it actually helps for the thyroid as well.
The thyroid isn't that's the right in the neck, right by
Yes,
where
sir.
the throat is, right? The thyroid's.
Yep.
What does the thyroid do?
Thyroid, it's your metabolism. So there's the thyroid. It's right. Actually, yeah, you're right. It's on your neck area. Your thyroid regulates your thyroid hormones. So if you have very low thyroid levels, then you're gonna have hypothyroidism. If you have very high thyroid levels, you'll have hyperthyroidism, and your thyroid is pretty much responsible for your metabolism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so this will help improve the thyroid to help better your metabolism.
Regulates it. Yeah.
Regulates it. And so they just stand inside of the machine and
Yeah,
for how long?
this is how we do it. So the patient stays in the machine for 10 minutes. You have to take your clothes off completely because you want the light to be absorbed by
On your skin?
Yes, yeah, on your body. And of course you wear a little glass to protect your eyes from the light because it's kind of bright inside the chamber. So, and it's really good for those who have skin issues. We had this patient that had a lot of acne and inflammation in the face, and he was doing red light therapy, and you can see it on our Instagram page, or I think it's on the Instagram page. You'll see the before and after results.
Wow.
And patients with psoriasis, yes.
And how often do they get into the chamber?
So we recommend at least, I would say 3 to 5 times a week. Yeah, 10-minute sessions.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So people who are listening, this is LV Holistic Health. Go check out their Instagram so you can see for yourself the benefits of red light therapy on your skin. And so, a lot of people, they want to eat things and make sure that they are nutritious so they can avoid the doctor. Can you help guide people so they know, hey, look, I should probably eat this because of my body type, or I shouldn't eat that because, are you able to help people with that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you have to know if you're not diagnosed by the doctor, if you have anemia, if you have electrolyte imbalances or any nutritional issues, if you're not diagnosed, the best way to know if you have certain disease is to look at your family background, your family history. If your mom has anemia and your dad has anemia, then you most likely have anemia as well. Okay, if you have if they both have iron deficiency anemia or vitamin B12 anemia, then you probably most likely have it also. So, then you should start eating vegetables, green leafy vegetables, liver, meat. Those are really good for those patients who have anemia. And then if you are on medications like, let's say, Lasix, a water pill, you lose your potassium, and therefore you should eat more food with potassium if you're not prescribed with potassium chloride tablets by your doctor. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But we do offer nutrition consultations. We have Carmen. She's really good. She is actually an herbalist, and she uses a lot of herbs to treat patients with, other diseases, patients who have electrolyte imbalances. And IV drips, actually, we offer IV infusion therapies at our clinic. We do we infuse vitamin B12s, those patients who have pernicious anemia, patients who have electrolyte imbalances. We give, and also today, now that the COVID-19, I think it's starting to, it's starting to rise up again. I heard that England it's currently in the lockdown, I believe, and Chicago, I think so. And right now we have a promo, $99 for vitamin C and zinc infusion, because as we all know, vitamin C and zinc are very good to fight off the COVID-19.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I have a friend, an attorney, who swears by the vitamin B12 injections as well. So go and get yourself some. lvholistichealth.com is the website. I'm here with Ricardo. He'll take good care of you. I'm sitting here. I can tell that you'll take excellent care, and that
thank you.
compassionate. Yeah. So
I try.
Thanks for taking the time to sit here with us today. And you guys are located at 8879 West Flamingo Road, number 101. Las Vegas 89147. Again, the number is 702-646-1150. Email Ricardo at admin@lvholistichealth.com. Take your family, go get the full workup. Make sure that you're feeling good and nutritious, so that way you have enough energy to listen to our show again next week. Money, Politics, Religion. Have a great week, folks.
Thank you so much.
If you've been hurt in an accident, the other driver made a bad choice. So, make a good choice. Call 830-7070. Choose attorney Anthony Paglia for the maximum possible settlement of your injury case. 830-7070.
Thank you for listening to our show, Money, Politics, and Religion, with attorney Anthony Paglia. Tune in next week to hear more politics, money, and religion. And remember, if you're ever hurt in a car crash, call attorney Anthony Paglia, injury attorney, at 702-830-7070 for a free and confidential consultation.
Call 830-7070. Why should I submit to him?